she's with, her partner, and she realized that she's getting the edge. Papa, she picks her bags and go home. Yes. And so the fact that you're having the conversation where
Hi, my podcast fans, and welcome to the ListenUp Podcast, right here on WIT&Delight. Yes, so as you know, the ListenUp Podcast, we share or talk about social issues with regards to love, sex, relationships, and many more. Just in case you missed our recent episodes of the ListenUp Podcast, just go to YouTube and search WIT&Delight, and voila, you find our recent episodes there. Share your thoughts on the topic and join in the conversation. Well, today we are talking about this whole issue of sex before marriage, and should I say the pros and cons about it? Yes, recently it's been on social media, and people are sharing their issues with regards to that. So today we want to have that conversation, and I'm having this conversation with your usual guests, Andy and Mandy. Welcome, guys, to the ListenUp Podcast.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Always glowing as usual. Oh, bro.
Thank God for grace.
Andy, how are you doing?
God to be praised.
Hallelujah. Well, so I was scrolling through social media and I chanced on a particular story which really caught my attention. So there's this married woman. According to her, she and her husband dated for 2 years, and they both agreed not to have sex before marriage. Now they have finally gotten married, and our woman is crying because the husband's distant. It is distancing her. She cannot distance any longer. She's like, I cannot come. She was actually crying. She's like, it was their honeymoon night and she couldn't take it. Her VJJ is all sore because the husband's manhood is a bazooka. So our sister is crying. So I'm like, this is a conversation we probably should have, because yes, there are many people like her also suffering probably different situations, but it's because they make the decision of abstaining from sex before marriage. So let's go straight into it. So Andy, your thoughts generally on sex before marriage? You think it's something that should be encouraged, or you think couples should just explore each other before they get into marriage? What do you think about it?
You see, this world, nothing is black and white. So I would go with explore before, because of certain things I've seen, heard, how things are going on currently, even in the country. Try it before you enter the marriage, because you see, it would be funny to say that you're leaving your marriage because you realize that, okay, either that your wife is a sex freak or your husband is a sex freak, or you just don't like how probably the person comes. People are disgusted by certain funny things. So currently I'll just say try it before.
Yeah, but at least just get to
relatively. Don't overdo it, but apply reason. You can try it.
Mandy, your thoughts? What do you think?
Diane, I
Yes,
don't
baby
think
girl.
you're even expecting me to say that you should try it before you get married.
Preach, sister. Hallelujah.
First of all, the Bible is our manual as Christians. We can't forgo it and want to live
Hallelujah.
anyhow. And daily, we are seeking grace to do better. And so you can't do that. For me, I don't believe that we have to try having sex before we get married, because the fact that you are not sleeping with somebody doesn't mean you shouldn't be observant about things that should give you the trigger that the thing is not working or will not work on. Besides, now there are lots of medications. If you marry somebody and you realize that things are not working, I believe strongly that you can seek intervention. There is nothing God cannot do. I have a testimony in my ministry, and I just want to say hello to Set Apart Girls. Yes, this lady she's married, and she was testifying about the fact that when they got married, they didn't have sex before marriage. They got married and realized that the man was actually impotent. But prayer healed them. They have a baby. In fact, the lady is pregnant again. And so I don't know why we want to trust God for jobs. We want to trust God for, breakthroughs, but we don't want to trust God for partners that will make us happy. Because even this Christian walk, after all, is it's a battlefield. We fight for everything. So I won't agree that you should try having sex before you get married.
Yeah, but you know that people are not as quote-unquote religious as you. And yes, I mean, you have stated the fact that you've had people in your ministry who are actually confirming positive things. But look at the layman who is looking at things practically, looking at things maybe from the science background, or like what is really happening in my marriage. And this is the fact that my husband's dick is big, I can't take it any longer. How do I go to the Bible and go like, God, my husband's dick is big, I can't take it any longer, you gotta help me? She's crying. Heavy JJ is all for. My sister Set Apart. What are you saying?
I initially said that nowadays we have drugs for everything.
Yeah.
You plan to change your husband?
No. Oh my goodness, why would you do that?
That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that if you have a challenge, I believe that now there's nothing we cannot do. If you have a challenge, just look for ways to address it.
But how about
the fact that prayer can also change things?
How about, okay, so before even getting to marriage,
I cannot talk for a lay person because I am not a lay person. I am a Christian who believes in my values as a Christian.
Hallelujah.
And so I can't talk for a lay person. What I can say is that if you are just in the world, you will get what it comes with being in the world. Okay, and so for me, I don't know how I can help the situation, but I also believe that you should have conversations. You see, when we talk about these things, I wish we have experiences with these people where we actually know the true story. Okay, because for me, I can testify about true stories of no sex before marriage, marriages that are doing well.
This is a true story that she and her husband abstained from sex.
And I'm saying this is something I can testify to. You are saying this is a true story. We can't testify. We don't know the true story. Do you understand? All we know is that the whole thing. How did they start dating? What were you paying attention to during the dating period? We need to have conversations. The fact that I don't want to have sex with you doesn't mean that if I visit you and
and then what?
And there is no attempt to want to touch me. For me, it's suspicious for me to. Yeah, if I'm around you, you should be able to want to, do something to me, so I say no. That kind of.
I was about to ask that. I mean,
because you can't just say because of no sex before marriage, you are just quiet and you are not observing anything.
So are you trying to say that you would encourage maybe foreplay, but you won't do the do?
I'm not saying foreplay. Oh, please don't go and foreplay. Don't go and foreplay. But you see.
But you want your partner to attempt to touch you. To try to do something to show that okay.
So this is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You have a guy who you are not having sex with. Wouldn't it alarm you if there is no, you don't even see the person up around you?
So you like to see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So every time I visit you, because of sexual purity, there's no occasion where I see triggers. No, I should see triggers.
I just don't comprehend what you are saying. No, this is really double standard.
Yeah.
Because according to you, the woman should stand virtuous, but the man should look like a virtuous, somehow an animal. coming up to you. How do you
Wait. Let's undeal.
Am I misconstruing what you're saying?
Yes, you are.
Yes. So if I give
I'm not saying
opportunity
you
to
should come
explain yourself, I won't get in your battle.
I said you are getting me wrong. So if you have something
I don't
to say,
think
go
I'm
ahead
getting
and-
Amanda wrong, because if we are Christians and we are supposed to stay away from sex, I don't think that the man is so much an animal or a human sex freak that when God was creating Adam, I'm also a Christian, God said that you have sex, woman, don't have any desire. That you are waiting for the man to make the move. Have you seen a number of women who make moves to men? So if you are being virtuous, I expect the man to also do same.
Be virtuous.
So if you are looking out for signals, this is where I feel that our religious and societal structures have failed us when it comes to sex. They make it seem like it's something that is so evil.
Yeah,
I mean,
growing
even
up, it's always
with
been like
married
that. Yeah.
people, sometimes it's weird for them to come out and speak about sex.
That's true.
Sex education, the Bible itself says, lack of knowledge, my people perish.
Yeah.
You having the knowledge should empower you to know that, okay, this is right and wrong. After all, God has given you your willpower to make your decision. So I know that this is bad. I won't go for that. But not having the knowledge. How come, what's the name? Eve was deceived. You have come to preach the Bible to me. Knowledge is very key. It's very important. So if you know that, okay, when I go and have so much sex with other people, I'm prone to STDs, I might become an addict and all that. Then you would be like, okay, then I know this. For me, I would not try it. I would wait. But you'd also know that waiting might also bring certain consequences.
That's true.
It could be that you might not know yourself sexually.
True.
Because first of all, the society we live in will make it seem like sex is bad. You don't even research about sex.
That's true.
What you are supposed to do, how it comes about, how your body is supposed to react.
Yeah.
When people are having sex,
These are things as a couple you should get to know before you even get married.
And the structure we have is difficult unless, probably, let me say the woke, or I don't know, even the educated people. It's quite difficult because the conscience is hitting them. This is the knowledge you've had. This is the thinking you've been brought. So it would make you feel guilty. Though probably in a different landscape, if you had that information, you wouldn't feel that guilt. That's why I'm saying that looking at the current circumstance, our religions have failed us so much that even when you do that, you are all pious before you get into marriage. The consequence comes and they themselves abandon you. You are talking about, yes, you can pray. Prayer is key. But don't forget that the decision, God has given your own decision to you. People say like, oh, I prayed and God gave me this husband. How are we to even confirm whether God gave you that husband?
That's true.
That's why I say that you can try it. However, I'm really careful to say that. Be careful how you do that. Because when you abuse it, then you kind of destroy yourself in the process. Certain people get into marriage, they don't even know how to initiate sex.
They don't.
People can't even tell their husbands, wives, baby, I want us to have sex. Let's have coitus. Let's make love. Kofi, Papa, go and call your father. It's his night. And you get me. It's weird. They make sex weird.
So this is the part where my trigger point actually comes. Mm-hmm. You are talking about how you want to talk about sex and it is made to look like it's evil and all that.
That's how
the fact that you want to stay chaste or you want to stay sexually pure doesn't mean you shouldn't have sexual conversations. It doesn't mean that the man should be like both of you should be disengaged when it comes to conversations on sex. And that is why for me, I think that while we are setting apart, we should be having conversations. We can have conversations about sex. It's not that things.
Don't you think it probably triggers emotions? Like, okay, you guys are having a conversation about sex.
Oh, but there are lots of things that triggers us into temptation, but we still flee, don't we? Yes.
Flee.
So the fact that you are having the conversation where
I'm sorry. So you guys are having conversation about sex and then you're feeling all horny and all that. So you just take your bag. Babe, I have to flee.
I was watching a movie on a YouTube video where the lady was talking about the fact that when she's with her partner and she realized that she's getting the edge. Papa, she picks her bags and go home. These are two people who are actually also staying pure. So I'm saying that, so the man also gets that trigger that like she can be in the mood and she may want to do it, but because of the standards, I'm not doing it. So when I talk about triggers, I'm not saying you should attempt to do it, but I'm saying that I want to see somebody, like, give me a reason to think that this guy will be really good in bed, or give me a reason to think that, okay, he's also interested in sex, even though he wants to stay pure.
But how do you determine someone is good in bed by just mere conversation? How is that possible?
So it depends on how the conversation will go. It depends on how the questions you ask. It depends. Yeah, I think it varies. I cannot sit here and tell you that if you have this particular conversation, you will know that this person will be good in bed or anything. But I believe that the issue about sex, or conversations about sex, should not be totally absent in your relationship because you want to stay pure.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll still stay pure, but I'm going to encourage conversations. And if we know that if we are presently together, wouldn't be safe for us to have that conversation. Why? We can stay in our various homes and have those conversations, and if we have triggers, we can end the conversation, and the next time when Obiana dream, that's when we still have it again.
There is no shame to sex.
I think that's the explanation I can give for triggers.
Sex bonding the couple, like it's more like emotionally, mentally, physically bond you guys together. So if you as a couple, you are devoid of that kind of bond, and you're still planning to settle down, I mean, don't you think that, okay, yes, this is the person that you want to settle down with, so I mean, it's not really bad to want to do that.
This whole sex thing, that when you finally get married, you have the liberty to do it for the rest of your life. Is it the 1 year that you are dating that you want to create bond? The 10 years or so many years ahead of you after
what
you
of compatibility? I mean, won't you want to know if you are sexually compatible with somebody? Sexually compatible.
Oh Lord.
Exactly. I mean, the others.
From the beginning, I said that we want to trust God for other things apart from our sexual lives. So if you are saying compatibility, these are some of the things you talk about. I don't think that you'll be able to find out everything in the dating period. But we have laid so much emphasis on sex that when you have sex with the person, you will get to know the person really, really.
Oh, of course not. I mean, it's part of the factors that builds the relationship. It doesn't mean it's like the main thing.
Well, that's relative. Sex factors that builds relate. For me, I think it's relative. Yeah.
But so I get the bond part. For me, I would prefer that you be a serious person. Don't just go into a relationship for fun.
Yeah,
then
definitely.
you become, sorry to say, a harlot or someone just going out for sex and giving yourself all sorts of illnesses. But if you know that, okay, this is the person that you've been with 5 years, okay, you didn't do anything the next first 3 years. You did one in January, 6 months. Yes. No, see, it's quite the whole religious aspect.
You can even talk about the also health implications too as well.
Then you get
just imagine dating for 5 years.
But you see, it's really important that for this to work, as you said, the conversation, I really accept that the conversation should be had. But the system we have is not helping. It's not helping. When you mention, people can't even mention penis in church.
Yeah.
Vagina in church.
You are telling me that's a bad person.
Not that as in you are trying to spread something bad. But if it's education, so you have a health expert in here coming to advise you on how to take care of your productive organ or something.
They have funny names for it.
Then you see, I don't know, parents, maybe a child is 12 years old, cover your ears, close your eyes. I mean, what are you doing?
You see, so
it makes it difficult to have that
kind of conversation.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for instance, we are doing sexual purity, and so when I say penis, you are my boyfriend. I mean, I'm hoping to marry you someday, and I say penis, and you are, oh, I'm gonna stop that. You know, so
I'm holding. Stop that. Heaven is the goal. Stop that.
So I agree with Andy to some extent. The fact that we are doing it doesn't mean the whole conversation about it should be entirely absent in our day-to-day. And trust me, there is so much more you can know about a person even when you've not had sex.
True,
So
but you
much
see,
more
there are
we can
certain
know.
things you
because
also
you
can't
see,
know.
it's not as if the organs are characters that once you have the sex, then the characters,
Change.
Go ahead, say what? No, but you see, there's certain
know.
things, unfortunately, unless experience comes in, you wouldn't know. And for some people, I know a majority of people who sex is the reason why they are getting married. People are getting married because they don't want to sin, have sexual immorality.
Yeah. That's
So
one of
sex
the
is
wrong
legal
motives to
means
even
for
think of
you
getting
to do
married.
that.
True.
So if you get in there and you're like, this is not what I fancy,
Exactly.
this is not what I want,
Exactly.
then you're coming to leave yourself.
Your partner because of that.
So you see, I keep saying that some of these things I cannot relate because I don't have a personal experience of the situation, so I can't talk. I think most of my experiences are people who have actually stayed away.
Okay.
They had challenges, they are praying and things are working out, and so I can only talk from that point. I believe we have in a way seen sex before marriage as a worldly thing. People are doing it and still getting married. You see, Archbishop Duncan Williams may not be able to go to the pool with his boxers to swim, but you can, Andy, you can. There are levels in our work with God, okay? And so there are things you may want to feel free and do, and it's your business, because I believe that God deals with us differently. I am sitting here to say what I'm saying because of the experiences I have around me, and Andy may also stand by his point because of the experiences he has around him. Yes, and I have come across a guy that is like, I could tell that this guy just can't trust anybody around. He thinks that once you are a lady, there's the tendency for you to cheat even when you are married. But where he is from and where I am from, what he's saying is normal. What I'm hearing from him is normal for me, And so there is that. I want to encourage you to have.
So and let's talk about how these decisions affect the relationship generally. I mean, this is a practical case whereby someone is saying that she can't go back to the husband's bed because her vajayjay is all sore because of what she has experienced. I mean, there are others too like that, but let's talk about how it affects the relationship generally. I mean, I know there are some guys who would be like, health-wise, I can't because I'm going to fall sick or whatever. I mean, but there are others too. I mean, let's talk about how it affects the relationship, probably both positive and negative.
First of all, I think she has to communicate with the husband, because lots of things happen during sex. Is it the pace? Is it the styles that he's giving that is making the whole thing seem so bad? Whatever he's doing, if you feel like, okay, at this place, hold on, let me take my time. I mean, see, sex is not what you see on porn every time. That so much happens that they don't show. So if you feel at this point this is not helping, halt, let away. If you need to go and see a health expert, it's also important, because then you'd be able to know how to move everything out. Possibly. If the health expert needs to advise lubricants, all those stuff, as Amanda says, see, there's so much that can help. You don't need to stop the marriage because it's too big. But if you do not communicate this, you would be bitter about your husband. Every time he comes close to you, you wouldn't want him to touch you, and you'd also get frustrated, go and cheat outside. So communication is very important.
So if you want to test because you want to be sure this is something that will not be too big for me in the future, so to what point do you stop testing?
No, that's why I said it should.
Do you realize?
At least just get to know. I said it should. No, I constantly do it.
You have to open your legs to before you finally find.
No, you don't just have sex with
somebody.
What you think?
This is somebody that you are planning to get married to.
So you are planning to get married, and you have sex, and you realize that it is too big, you can't handle. Then you move on to the next, right? So to what end?
Maybe you find a solution before you make the decision of getting married.
Do you value how much you are opening up
Amanda,
to the whole year?
It's not why it's opening it. See, experience is the best tutor. You've seen this. Okay, size 1, 2, 3, 4 didn't work for me.
Yeah.
My previous person was size 4. Okay, when I look at this, I'm imagining this is size 3, 2.5.
Yes.
Probably I would be able to, but that's what I'm saying. It's it's really difficult sometimes to stay away from sex.
Yeah.
Let's be human as
Yeah.
possible. Yes, you pray about it,
Amanda,
but it's
you
something
have
people
sexual feelings at
falls
times.
to.
come
It's
on,
really
I'm not
Oh, hallelujah.
But see, since
Ha.
it's really difficult
So how do you
for
handle
people
it?
to hold on to. I'm
So
of
like
this
I
view
see.
because I know it's difficult for lots of people to stay away from sex
Yeah,
before marriage.
that's true.
So if you do that, let it be relative. 1, 2, that should be all. Don't go extreme. Then
Then it gets to
when
a
you
time.
don't go extreme. When
No,
the
oh,
second person is also not good for you.
It's a conversation.
No. You are saying that you should be relative.
Yes.
So how do you no? It should be relative. You have sex with the first person, it doesn't go well for you. You do it to the second person, and it is almost worse than the first one.
It's not
So
like when you just try, you just run out too. I mean, definitely, if it's something that
So
you can't
see,
find a solution to.
So when you marry, you can't find solution.
Oh, sister.
Amanda, you don't
No,
know.
so you try and work it out. If it doesn't work for you, then okay, now I want to get married to this person because in future
saying-
this is the person I'm going to be for the rest of my life, and I can't deal with this aspect of his life. You get
How
it?
many will you continue to try?
Oh,
until
And
you
we
You're
are
making it-
advising that don't have a number that you yourself you can't even dream about. If the first
It doesn't
time you
mean
try-
that you're going to try like
No,
1,000
try
times before you
everybody. No.
probably settle on
Then
the right
what kind of
What is
person.
the
person are you?
guarantee that you're not going to try it 1,000 times?
No, you won't try it 1,000
What is
times.
the guarantee that you're not going to be inviting 1,000 dicks between your legs? What
No,
is the guarantee?
like the same guarantee where you can't have that after marriage, you staying after marriage would show that you'd have a perfect.
Exactly.
It's the same guarantee.
Well, yeah.
It's the
Exactly.
same
It can't also be guaranteed
But
that
I'm
okay, you've
saying
chosen
that-
A to marry A. So whatever A has, you have to deal with
Deal with
it
it.
because
No,
you
you
married
don't
him
have that
without
guarantee you'll be
probably
perfect.
having any knowledge. Come
Some
on.
people, I know some people go and
Somebody
like,
is crying
"Oh
because
God, what did I
in
do
a way,
wrong? What did I
that's
do wrong? What did I do wrong?" Do you like abstain
And
pure and all
America
that?
said, for somebody who is crying now, I have so many questions for the person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what from the beginning? Like, what was the foundation like? Okay, so what
So
were you
obviously, I
looking
think
at? What
everything
kind of
really,
conversation
yeah,
were you
was down
having,
to
you
conversation. Yeah.
So
You should have
I
that-
can't
that-
really
that's-
I
talk
think we
much
beg to.
for-
I mean, we agree at that part that we have a problem with the society and the whole religious thing we have. We should have the conversation. When we do it, I don't think at that point you'd have to have the sex before. Because my
but
whole
this
reason
thing-
for having this sex before is because of the kind of bad structure we have.
So there's this thing that I hear from some of my male friends that when guys stay away from sex for a while, they get prostate
Hey,
cancer
as for
and
our
all that.
guys, yeah.
How true is that? Because like then I'm asking myself, our
There's no concrete evidence.
Okay.
It's just because of some.
but are there any health implications when you as a guy you abstain
Health experts
from
say that if you don't
sex?
have sex regularly, you're prone to prostate cancer because they've noticed that those who have sex often are less likely to have
that.
prostate cancer. So that's how they are kind of making this kind of
Because I
analysis.
keep
So
hearing
if-
that a lot.
If
I'm like, okay.
A is good, then which means B would be bad. That's the kind of analysis, but there's nothing
Really concrete, okay.
about that.
So
But-
there are no health implications if you decide to stay away from sex.
Oh, see, this is where my Christian bit will come in. We serve a living God.
Oh, hallelujah.
We serve a living God.
Hallelujah.
You won't die. Oh no, you won't die because they are people
Wendy,
who
so
have
now
stayed
you
away.
know that.
No,
you
see,
won't die.
I'm not. I don't want to be.
Okay, guys, we're wrapping up. Your final words. I mean, aside the story that I just brought out, there are other different issues too as well. There's one I saw where she was like, what? She wants to go down on her husband. The husband is not used to that kind of thing, and they didn't have that conversation before marriage, and now it's not a problem in their marriage. So, like, there are other various, sexual things with regards to this whole we didn't have sex before marriage, and people are having problems and they need help. You see it a lot on social media, a lot. So, in our final words, advice to that young girl who is crying because her husband's thing she cannot handle. Amanda.
For me, I would encourage that he shouldn't stop seeking help, because I believe there's a way out. This guy would definitely have sex comfortably with somebody. So it's not as if he's an outcast because he has a big whatever. I want to believe that there's a way out. I remember I was told a story where, you see this, I mean, there's this particular tribe that they have really big things. The guys have really big things, and so I think their wife, no, long things. Yes. And the wife was actually getting hurt anytime they have an encounter because it's too long. They went to the hospital. I understand they gave the man a ring that should measure the extent of the entry of the manhood.
So they have solutions.
So if you can have a solution, why would you want to quickly? I hope she gets help. Yeah, whoever it is, I just pray that she gets help, because sometimes you have a good man, but
it's just
this is the challenge. Just seek help, because marriage, dear, from what I have learned, you learn and unlearn, fix and
it's a roller coaster.
So I just pray you get help, and don't be too quick to give up. Okay, keep seeking help, and I pray you get one.
Andy,
talk about it.
Final words.
Talk about it. If you like, the person is not with your flow, having some weird fantasies, and you can't move away.
Cannot handle.
Talking about the going down, I read somewhere that it's not good because it can give certain
throat cancer.
Where you are over there. So
Dear
after
husband.
talking, but if you can't stay away, use a contraceptive. God can forgive you. You'd repent.
Yeah,
but that baby that would come, you can't put it back into the womb. So best advice: stay away. If we are able to dismantle the structure where you can't talk about sex holistically, if we have that structure, stay away. If you can't, use a contraceptive.
Yes, so thank you guys for sharing your thoughts on this mind-boggling topic. Well, yeah, so you just heard from Andy and Mandy, or from the conversation. You can see that Amanda says, go to God. God is going to give you a husband that you can love. Andy, on the other hand, is saying, try it before you enter the marriage, so you get to know your partners. You know what I mean? Yeah, so share your thoughts in the comment section. It's very important to me. I want to know what you guys are thinking about this conversation. And if you've had experiences whereby you didn't do it and you got married and it's working for you, share your thoughts. If you also think you've had bad experiences, you just share your thoughts in the comment section. This has been the ListenUp Podcast. My name again is Miss D. Thanks for joining us.